I wanted to get to this chat right here from Impact 88. It says, I just want to address this real quick because I did not address it on my show yesterday because I thought that it was cleared up online. We said, what's your opinion on Matt Riddle saying he's still waiting to get paid for his appearance at TNA's Turning Point? Well, my opinion is that Matt Riddle did get paid. So here's what happened is Matt Riddle gave an interview with this guy Shaq Majori. I can't pronounce his last name, but he does he's for I think CBS Sports or Yahoo Sports, one of those sports websites. He gave the interview a little while ago, right? But the guy waited to release it till this week because this week was MLW's Kings of Coliseum. So it was a delayed release of the interview. So I don't think the aggregator from Fightful, who like his job is to like listen to podcast interviews and then try to generate news articles from them. So Matt Riddle is on that podcast, and it's just a few weeks after Turning Point, and he says, "Yeah, I did it great. Even though I haven't been paid yet, but it was a fun time. And they take a little while on their payroll. I'm not worried about it." And then he goes on and continues to say how great it was being at TNA, but he's focused on MLW because he was there doing an interview that MLW set up, right? So it wasn't a really big deal. But the aggregator, the kid that does the aggregating, saw that he hadn't been paid yet, and the interview got released this week when in fact it was done weeks ago. And so they put that article out, which has since been pulled essentially, and they reworded it because it was kind of a clickbaity headline there.
From Fightful?
Because he did,
clickbaity headline. Get out of here.
Yeah, he actually got paid on December 23rd. So anyway, BQ, and I think he talked about it on his podcast. BQ asked around and said, "What's up with this payroll stuff?" And they go, "Everybody that comes in, they get paid 30 days afterwards. So they do their payments every 30 days, right? They do their payments." And so he got paid like within 30 days of his match on TNA. So essentially it's a non-story. Matt Riddle, a perennial drug addict and sex pest, is now the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. He defeated Satoshi Kojima over the week, I guess last night. It was live on YouTube, the Kings of Coliseum. I have not seen the show yet, but the headline for this episode is "The Carnies are back." We're going to save Vince for last. We started with AEW. We're going to save Vince for last. We're going to go right into this MLW stuff because I want to talk about this because this is so fucking great. I love this MLW story. I love talking about Court Bauer and some of his antics. So yesterday, before the show goes on the air, the MLW Twitter account tweets out something to the effect. I don't have the tweet pulled up, but I fucking got it right here because I remember my MLW bullshit. So they're in Dallas, Texas, in some type of sports auditorium, right? And they said, "We have completely sold out. We were at capacity, 2,400 in attendance tonight for MLW Kings of Coliseum." And I look at that and I'm like, there ain't no chance in hell that they got 2,400 people there. Right. So I took a screenshot of it and I tweeted it out because naturally I'm going to pick on MLW. It's part of what I do.
It's fun.
Any chance I get. And I said, there's a 0.1% chance that this is true. Right. Well, there was somebody in the Voices of Wrestling Discord. I don't want to say his name out there because he put it in the Discord. I don't think he wants to get heat from the MLW people. So I'm not going to put his name out there. But he was actually in attendance and he was, in the back. And he was like, he essentially saying like, "Hey, this is not true. There's not that many people in here." And he took a picture of the crowd and it looked like maybe 800 people, which that's a good house for MLW. 800 people for MLW is pretty good, right?
For sure.
And he said, he goes, "There's a hockey game going on in the room next door." So this big sports complex that they're in has different rooms, right? And so they had a hockey game in the hockey arena right next door to the smaller room that they were in for the wrestling show. So these things are going on concurrently. And what they did, because when those two things are full, both shows together would be 2,400 people. So they just factored in the people that were there watching hockey and put that into the overall number and tweeted it out saying that they sold 2,400 tickets when in fact it looked like they were about 800, which is really good for MLW. what like there's no reason to lie when the truth is also pretty good. But Carnies are back. Carney Court is a legend. He's one of my favorite people in wrestling. The guy will just he will lie for no reason at all, just to lie, and I love him for it.
He would have been very successful in the 80s. He would have had a very small territory, but he would have been we on our Patreon, we talked about Randy Savage and Angelo Poffo and how they promoted ICW, right? And the lengths that they went to do crazy promotion. That is Court. That's Court Bauer. Like Court Bauer would have been sticking big old meat down his pants just to get arrested, right? Just to get some pub for ML
Yeah.
Hey, that was a nice rhyme. That was actually pretty cool. I don't know, man. I don't like 800 would have been fine, but 800 doesn't sound cool. 800 doesn't sound nearly as cool as 2400 does. So like, why tell the truth when I can just lie? Like they don't. It's that's the mark of like a liar. Like when you don't have to lie, but you just do because it feels more natural to be a liar than it is to be honest.
Yeah.
Like and it's just the way it goes over there, man. Like it's wrestling, it's whatever, but
yeah,
I don't know, man.
What's funny about it is that lie generated so much conversation that a lot the tweet that I had blew up, and a lot of people are still talking about that tweet that I made. They're still talking about MLW, and nobody's being negative. A lot of people are saying, "Man, MLW is so beast just to lie like that." It's like it's just like it's like legendary Carney stuff. There's people saying like he should be promoter of the year for just telling that lie and generating so much conversation about his company. I don't think anybody talking about it right now is actually going to go look and click on the link to watch the MLW show that they put for free on their YouTube. You would assume maybe some of them would actually just check it out to see how many people are there, but you can't really see because it's so dimly lit. You can't really tell, but Mike, it's dimly lit because not a lot of people are there.
There's 8,000 people in my office right now watching me do this show. They're behind my phone cameras. You can't see them, but they're there. They're there.
Yeah.
Like that's dealing with MLW. Like I don't know, man. It's the carniest. It's like the GLATE of America, right? Like it's like GLATE. Like it's nothing but Carney BS and whatever, man. But you gotta be careful saying the Carney BS stuff because people get mad.
They will. They had a good house though.
They did.
Junkyard Akiyama was there. He said it was actually a really nice house. They did a good job. And he said he actually took his date there and he said he had a good time. Mystico was there. So if you guys want to know why they sold so many tickets, well, Mystico was on the card and a lot of CMLL talent was on the card. And there's some New Japan talent on the card. There's probably 3 MLW stars on the card. And Matt Riddle happens to be one of them. I can say for TNA fans, with Matt Riddle winning the MLW title and saying what he said about TNA and their payroll stuff, I think we can be marked safe from Matt Riddle coming into TNA again. I think we're safe from that for at least a little while.
Waiting out till Papa Hunter comes calling back.
Yeah. One of my favorite MLW Carney moments was when they did a joint show with The Crash in Tijuana, right? When really it was just a Crash show that had some MLW stars on it, and Court Bauer took a picture of the audience at 5,000 strong, and said MLW sold out 5,000 people in Tijuana, and everybody just ripped him to shreds like, you motherfucker, that's a Crash show, and the Crash does 5,000 almost every week in Tijuana because Tijuana is a hotbed for pro wrestling.
Always has been. But that's Court, though. Like, he's one of these guys that truly believes that there's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah.
Like, he says stupid stuff just to get people talking about him. Like, and it keeps us, we're giving him more attention than we normally do. Like I said, I've had my own, dalliances with Court over the years. Like, he can be pretty sensitive, but the man works hard for his promotion. I can't argue.
He does, yeah.
I can't argue that. He's a hustler. Like, in every sense of the word, like he hustles his ass off to do any amount of publicity he can. He's got a good eye for talent. He's actually really good. Like Matt Riddle's the latest in a long line of like problematic talent that actually find their way and settle down in MLW. Like, been like that from day one.
Yeah, Teddy Hart, when the MLW
Low
rebooted, Teddy Hart
key.
was like one of the first signings. Yeah, low key. Like Teddy Hart's probably next level, but like low key was there with them, um and I'm trying to think of who else was, and then yeah,
Oh,
obviously
look at
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle,
Yeah,
and like there's tons of guys that have strolled into MLW that Court has kind of kept the lid on and been okay with them. It's like
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's weird. Like he's actually not bad with talent. He's actually not bad with a lot of stuff, but it's stuff like this that just makes me have a hard time seriously and not want to watch the show. That and
yeah.
his booking.
Transferring, he says, I just looked at their YouTube numbers. They aren't bad. 81,000 for that show. That's actually really good
It's pretty good.
for for MLW.
I don't
It's
know who
not
these
bad.
MLW fans are, quite frankly. Like I've never met an ML other than myself. I was a huge MLW 19. Like I've never met in my physical life like someone goes, man, I love MLW wrestling.
Yeah.
Not one time.
They don't really. They have
Jacob
changed.
Fatu.
Yeah. Jacob Fatu. Yeah. So they gave Jacob a chance when nobody else would,
Mhm.
because he had a criminal record, and so he really does have an eye for talent. You take a look at the
Mhm.
star, like Jacob Fatu right there, Alexander Hammerstone over on TNA, and then on
Shane Strickland.
yeah, Shane Strickland and MJF on AEW, and then of course our main man, Lexus King himself, Brian Pillman Jr. was
The remarkably talented Lexus King.
yeah. Yeah. So he does have a really good eye for talent.